Hello and welcome. Today's video is intended to help students get to where they can graph exponential equations. So I thought I would start off the video by saying I expect that by the end of today you'll be able to graph exponential equations given just an equation, given just the function. Alright, so we're going to start off with a quick review of function notation. What that was whenever we saw f of x, and then we had some function given to us on the right. And when we were given this, we had to just say, okay, given any x, say if x were 3, I would just take and put in a 3 wherever the x was. In this case, I'd get 2 to the 3. Alright? Now just to continue with our little review here, that means 2 times 2 times 2. Which means that f of 3 is just equal to 8. Alright? Let's start off with getting through the rest of our starter. So we had to find f of 2, f of 1, f of 0, f of negative 1, and then f of negative 2. Okay. I'm going to leave just a second here in case we need to pause the video, kind of finish up on the starter there. Alright, if so, then that's been done. Alright, so f of 2, that is equal to 2 squared, which means just 2 times 2, which is equal to 4. F of 1, that's equal to just 2 to the 1. So it's just 2 times itself one time, which means it's 2. F of 0, just 2 to the 0, which means it's 1. Then we'll have 2 to the negative 1. Okay. And finally, we'll have 2 to the negative 2, which means we'll have 1/4. Alright, this will be our first step in getting ourselves to where we can graph exponential equations. We want to first set up a table of values. And so what that will look like is we're just going to make a nice table. Where we're going to have x and we're going to have y. Alright, now if we wanted to graph this equation here, 2 to the x, we're just going to make sure that we say, alright, we had an x value of 3, 2, 1, 0, negative 1, and negative 2. Then after that, put in whatever our f of x was. So, and instead of y, let's actually put f of x up here. We're going to say f of x. Alright? But it'll still hold the same thing. Our y-axis will just be whatever f of x was. In this case, for 3, we had 8. For f of 2, we had 4. F of 1, we had 2. F of 0, we had 1. F of negative 1, we had 1/2. And then finally, f of negative 2, we've got 1/4. Alright, that'll be our first step. We want to make that table for each graph. Then, after that, we'll just want to grab ourselves a nice piece of graph paper. Hey, look at that. Looks just like the ones we got today in class. Alright, get that in the shot there. Alright, and now these ones, they haven't been given an axis yet. And so, I'm going to just determine my axes here. In looking at my data, if I were to continue putting in extra values, I would notice that I'm never actually going to get a value that's less than 0 for my f of x. As I keep going down the line on f of x, it's just going to get closer and closer to 0. I'm never actually going to get there. And so I'll be explaining that a little bit further as we go on. But to start off our grid, I'm going to set my x-axis right there at the very bottom. And then my y-axis, I'll just put that in the middle, give or take. There we go. Alright, so put my x-axis along the bottom, and then y-axis, or in this case f of x, those values are just up along the middle there. And then with that, I'm just going to start looking back at my table, and I realize, okay, add a value where x is 3, so go over 1, 2, 3. I'll go up 8, and I'll go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Put a point. Then I'll go back 1 to where x is 2, and then I'll have it go up 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Then for f of 1, go to x equals 1, go up 2. For my f of 0, I'll go up 1. Make that point a little bigger since my grid's kind of harder to read at that area.